Hey, this is Josh with New Review, coming at you with a new review of the next Netflix exclusive anime, A.I.C.O. Incarnation. A.I.C.O. Incarnation follows A.I.C.O. in her journey to help stop the destruction of Japan at the hands, for lack of a better term, of malignant matter. Um, she's journeying through a river valley in Japan to the source of the malignant matter to try to end it. And the entire time, we're thinking her body is a copy, not really her body, and her brain is her actual brain. Um, and in this world, there are groups of people called divers. Divers are people who go into the zone that is full of malignant matter to get various things for various clients. And there's also special military forces that go in there that are under the control of the CAAC. Um, and for a long time, you really think that A.I.C.O. is doing what she is supposed to do so that ultimately the world can be saved, because if the malignant matter gets past the dam that it is at right now, it would end up in the Sea of Japan and then all over the world. Um, and even though for a very long time no one we actually care about dies, I mean, some people do die, a good number of people do die, divers, special forces guys. Um, it's not really anyone we care about, and I think that is a bit of a weakness in an anime like this. There's another anime I'm going to talk about later on that has a similar problem. But what I liked about it is that the stakes were always there. Um, there are always instances where the characters could be killed at any second. Again, no one we actually care about dies for a very long time. And as time goes on, we're getting deeper and deeper into the infected area, for lack of a better term. Uh, and one and The secret, because no one but uh, Kazaki and the two lead divers know that uh, the uh, stuff that is the artificial cells are what make up A.I.C.O.'s body. Um, then that is found out, and that kind of leads to some tension. And eventually, a character we care about is killed. I feel bad that I forgot his name, but it was a very heart wrenching moment for another character who had known she had known him for years, um, and had actually been in the special forces for at least a couple years, because that's how long the matter had existed, um, before getting out and becoming a diver and getting in on part of this mission to end the threat of the malignant matter. And we get to a point where we find out that the proof that they use to prove that she isn't a person is on her eye. There is a serial number. Turns out serial numbers are attached to the copies, because her father worked for a company and that company created copies for their employees and their extended family, probably for organ harvesting or largely organ harvesting. I'm guessing. Um, and it turns out that the serial number is associated with the brain of the copies, and the eyes are connected to the brains. So, body she had been in the whole time was the actual A.I.C.O's body. The brain was not the actual A.I.C.O's brain, it was the copy brain. And this brain had developed its own personality. And the kid, Kazaki, was actually Dr. Yura, who had seemingly died in the burst when the malignant matter became a thing. And it turns out the malignant matter was the fake A.I.C.O's body reacting to the real A.I.C.O's brain. And there's this race against time. There's another doctor whose daughter had been in a coma, and her consciousness somehow couldn't figure out which was her actual body and which one was a copy body. And this just leads to a lot of conflict for the last few episodes, which I feel was a little ham fisted, to be honest, because the original conflict was interesting. With them fighting this malignant matter again, it's a fairly stagnant thing, and I think they could have found a better way to intimate this conflict because it kind of comes out of the blue in the back half, and it isn't really there in the front half. The human conflict. And then we think we lose another character we care about, fake A.I.C.O. But she is reborn, and the way that they do it was a little weird, to be honest. And a big question that this was asking was the question of identity and personhood. Kind of like what makes a human a person a person. Because if fake A.I.C.O. brain wasn't meant to gain a consciousness, then why did she, and does that make her a person? And also, what makes up our own personal identity? Because for the longest time, fake A.I.C.O. thinks she's the real A.I.C.O. And for a long time, we think she is too. Um, and there was an article I read where the first few episodes, A.I.C.O. was basically just like this this main protagonist who doesn't have any agency, and to a large extent, that is the case. Um, and like I said, the malignant matter was just fake A.I.C.O. body reacting to real A.I.C.O. brain, and the fake A.I.C.O. body was just looking for its actual brain, because A.I.C.O. had been in an accident 2 years prior, which was the same time that the malignant matter appeared. And it was a surgery to try to save A.I.C.O.'s life, and obviously it went horribly wrong. Just an interesting note: the opening theme song for this series kind of had some like Celtic influences, I think, which I think is a very interesting thing. I will talk about another anime, but overall, it's a very decent anime. Kind of had some Ghost in the Shell elements to it. And I mean, I'd recommend watching it. It was interesting, but it had some things to be desired. So yeah, this is Joshua with New Review signing off.